Liam McKeekin asks, where did you get Sheldon? How much do horned tortoises go for in Canada? I'm in Calgary and looking for a small tortoise. Now, tortoises in Canada are not cheap. You're not going to find them cheap pretty much anywhere. If you do, don't buy it. Simple. It's probably either wild caught, something's in the past has gone wrong with it, or just something that you don't know is going on. I got Sheldon from a local reptile store called J&J Reptiles. You can also find them occasionally at Pisces and Got Reptiles. They all have very competitive prices. They're all very similar, and you'll be paying, depending on the tortoise, anywhere between $400 and $700 to like $1,000. Yeah, they're really not cheap. I paid, originally, for my first tortoise that I ever had, I paid $600. That one ended up passing away. I got a refund. I got another one. That one ended up passing away. And I only got half of that one back, so I got $300 back. And then I bought Sheldon for $450, I believe. And he's still here today. G Nation asks, here's one. Would you ever consider getting more geckos, crested gecko or gargoyle geckos? If you're limiting it to those two, no. Gargoyle geckos are cool. Crested geckos are really cool. I don't really think they're for me. Honestly, the main reason I still have Tig is because she's A, just a pet, B, because my girlfriend named her, and C, because like most of my family is attached to her, so she's one of the family, really. Other than that, if that wasn't the case, like, chances are I wouldn't have her anymore. I actually did consider selling her for quite a while, actually. I think I came pretty close to selling her, but just decided, no, that's not really right. Like, I signed up for her, I should deal with her. So yeah, that's that. If you're talking about all geckos in general, then yes, I probably will get some more over the course of the next, I don't know, while. Tommy Christensen says, hey Mike, my question to you is, have you ever kept snakes? If you don't, why don't you anymore? If you haven't, why not? Love your channel, very educational, so much fun to watch. Best regards, Tommy from Denmark. Shout out to Denmark, what up? I answered this already in the very beginning of the video. I have not kept snakes, I don't have snakes, and I won't be getting any snakes. In this house at least, so. But thanks for the nice comment. Niels Baymond. Don't hate me. I'm probably going to butcher some of these. Hi. My question is, where did you get those parents? My parents, after being on strike for 3 months, by the way, it's a tip, cooperate with nothing until you get your reptile. Finally letting me have one chameleon, a room filled with reptiles, is only something I can dream of. Tell your parents they are incredible, good parents. Greets from Holland. My Holland people showing up. What up? P.S. Did you get most of your reptiles after leaving your parents' home, or could you have them at home before? Do you still live at home? Which is fine, at least in my country. I know cams are not great, but yes, I do still live at home. I'm in university, so I don't feel any rush to move out until I'm done university. Where did I get those parents? They adopted me. And that's actually true. I am adopted. If you guys didn't know that, I am. That's where I got them from. They chose me. I didn't choose them. Jamie Southwell asks, have you ever thought about getting a Bosk's monitor? Alright, so that's not what we call them here. We call them Savannah monitors. But yes, I have thought about it. And again, it's similar to the Tegu situation. They just get too big for what I can accommodate right now. So not right now, but at some point in the future, probably. Brandon07 says, what is the best way to make my veiled chameleon not scared? I know it's a dumb question. He will eat from my hand and cup, but he will hide when we walk through the room. I already answered a question just like that. Tail Reptile says, is it okay to have no lights for your bearded dragon because they go outside all day and they sleep in their cage? Thanks. If that is true and they're actually outside all day with access to sunlight, then that's fine. If you're just like, oh, well, they go outside and it's really actually only like for 15 minutes every day and they're just left in their cage, then no, that is not okay. The Powerful Pushhu says, what will be the longest living reptile that you have? I mean, I don't know how to time travel, so I'm not really sure, but I'm guessing the tortoise. That's just throwing that out there. Official Geckos asks, do you plan on getting any snakes? If you are, what kind? Answered already. Curtis Johnson asks, would you ever consider getting a Sheldon a friend? Yes, I have considered it, and to be completely honest, if there is opportunity to get him another friend, to get him a girlfriend, I probably would take it. I even think like my parents are kind of on board with it, like go for it. I hope that it comes up, but it would have to be like a confirmed female sub-adult, I guess, like a good sized female that you can actually tell is female. So that's what would the kind of prereqs have to be. Zach asks, if you could have one reptile that is tame as a dog, which would you choose? I mean, probably a Komodo dragon. I think that'd be like pretty much the most badass reptile that you could have. And it was like as tame as a dog. If it listened to you, that'd be even cooler. Like, fetch, or go get me a drink, or go get the mail. I mean, that's kind of what a kid is for, but honestly, I think a Komodo dragon is a solid answer. I know there's a bajillion different reptiles out there, and of course, there's probably better answers than that, but off the top of my head, that's what I got. Zapgun asks, will I ever get a water dragon? Please pick me. Well, Zapgun, I'm pretty much picking everyone from that video, so I was debating between like 3 different animals, reptiles, when I got Turok. It was him, the Jackson's chameleon. It was a frilled dragon, or it was an Australian water dragon. I don't think I'd ever own Chinese water dragons, but the Australian water dragons are so badass that I would dream to own them someday. Jose Garcia, don't judge. Will you ever get other types of geckos? I answered that earlier, yes. I want some more dwarf day geckos. I would be down with regular day geckos. Yeah, I'd get more geckos for sure. Probably not leopard geckos or crested geckos or gargoyle geckos or some of the other like super common ones, but Eurodactylodes agricolae, Bauer's chameleon gecko, I think is the common name for it. I would definitely get some of those. Risky Business 21 says, do you have any suggestions for future reptile owners? Any suggestions? I don't really know what you mean. If you mean like animals for future reptile owners, or tips, or what? I mean, if you're looking for suggestions, there's so many. Like blue tongues I've already mentioned, tortoises I really love. But above everything else, just make sure that you do a ton of research. Now, I work at a pet store, and I do see the people. Only on occasion do I actually find people that come in and know what they're talking about and are ready for a reptile. For the most time, it's basically just like, well, I was looking at reptiles and I think they're cool. I want this black throat monitor. It's like, Brohim, please, no, that's not what you want. Honestly, any suggestions for future reptile owners? Do your research. Especially for people like me and people that own reptile shops, we love to hear when people have come in and they say, oh yeah, it needs a basking spot of this, I need this size of cage, I need this, and they have everything laid out. For one, it makes my job really easy because it's just like, okay, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. 2, I can actually have an intelligent conversation with that person and say, oh, like, what got you into them? What have you been doing to research? That kind of thing. And 3, it's really nice to see somebody that actually cares. It's so refreshing. So if you're getting a reptile, do research. Next question comes from Matthew VidGamer TV. Do you have a schedule to feed your reptiles? Loosely. I feed Kai pretty much every day. I feed Turok pretty much every day. I feed Sky once, maybe twice a week. I feed the monitors every day for like 4 days a week, so like not every other day, but mostly every other day. Like every now and then I'll hit them twice, like 2 days in a row. Tig I feed Crusted Gecko every other day. Sheldon I feed every day, and the dart frogs I feed Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday. And then the shrimp tank I feed 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and give them the weekends off. Next question comes from Crested Geckos Calgary. Says, How did you get Sheldon so friendly? I didn't. He's an animal. Help me. Honestly, tortoises for the most part are really friendly. They're not super shy. Obviously, there's different ones. Like, I can scratch under his chin and he loves it. There's some tortoises that just freeze up. Like, ones that we have at work will not let you do that. They just, like, tense into their shell. Just time, and they are intelligent. Like, they do recognize me. When I walk into the room, his head perks up and looks around and sees that that's me, and chances are he associates me with food, so when he sees me, he's like, damn, a meal's coming! But that's fine with me. If I'm associated with a meal and he's friendly, I'm good with it. Louis yeah, sure, we'll go with it. Do you think beginners can keep an Ackie monitor? I know they're not among the top picks for beginners, but I'm very fascinated by the species. If you do enough research, and you actually do enough research, and you know what you're doing, then of course you can keep them. Why not? Another fire asks, how many reptiles do you plan on having in the future, and what is a reptile you are wanting at the moment? Wanting at the moment, I kind of already said it in the couple questions ago. Probably a field dragon or Australian water dragons. There's also some day geckos that I'm looking at. How many reptiles do I plan to have in the future? I don't know. However many sustainable with whatever I end up doing. Scotty Goodwin Vlogs asks, what is the best heat source in your opinion for a leopard gecko? Also, greetings from the UK. What up, UK? I say hi to all you friends in the UK. Best heat source for a leopard gecko would definitely be a heat mat or flex wet heat tape. On build, which plants are good for blue tongues? I love blue tongues. And would you recommend buying from? Where would you recommend buying from? If you're in the States, honestly, I don't know if Brian Barczyk is going to be selling any of his, but from him or from Underground Reptiles has quite a few that they breed. I also have no idea what plants are good for blue tongues. I would suggest you go to bluetongues.net, I think, and just see there what they have listed. Gecko27 asks, would you ever get a caiman lizard or a tree monitor? Tree monitor, absolutely. I plan to have those in the future. I really want the whole rainbow of tree monitors. Whether that happens or not, probably unlikely, but who knows. And a caiman lizard, I probably would never own one, but I think they're super badass. Slime King says, what do you think about the monitor reptiles, like the big ones I hope I get on the Q&A? I like them. They're cool. I think they're really badass, they're very intelligent, and they're poster boys for awesome. MCD Reptiles asks, if you decided to add another gecko species to your collection, what would it be? Tokay, giant day gecko, or leaf-tailed gecko? If you're giving me a choice of those three, it would definitely be a leaf-tailed gecko, and it would be the satanic leaf-tailed gecko. If it would be just open to anything, I've answered it in other comments. Hydra Gigs has a question, and it reads, which one of your animals requires the most care/money? Keep up the great videos. The most care and probably the most expensive is probably Sheldon, to be honest. Like, I feed him every day, and he eats salad, so it's probably the most expensive. Rhino Bros ask, what got you interested in reptiles? I answered that pretty much, I think it was like the first question. And just to reiterate, Steve Irwin, my parents, reptile shows, and my friends. The Gaming Chip 850. What reptiles do you not want to own? If I get picked, call me by my Instagram, CN_SO3. Well, you got called by both, so there you go. I'm sure everybody that is familiar with my channel knows what I do not want to own. So let me preface what I don't want to own by saying it's not that I don't like them or that I don't think they're cool. I just don't see them in my room. Like, I don't have anything against bearded dragons or anything like that. I just don't want one. It's just, like, me. So with that being said, bearded dragons, probably another crested gecko, another leopard gecko, tokay geckos, gargoyle geckos. There's a bunch that I don't want to own. Like, there's just, like, tokay geckos. I mean, yes, I have seen them be absolutely puppy dog tame, more tame than like leopard geckos or crested geckos. But that takes so much work and so many painful bites that's just not worth it. Yeah, that's just a few off the top of my head that I don't really want to own. Alright, so SRG Exotics says, hey Mike, and Q&A. He has 3 questions. 1, How much do you spend on food on your animals weekly? I'd say a total of about $30. So like $25 for crickets and then $5 to $7 for salad. Do you think there will ever be a time where you don't own reptiles? God, I hope not. I really hope to own reptiles my whole entire life. The only time, like the only thing that I could see taking that away from me is, say, if I do become like a zoologist or a herpetologist or whatever happens in life and have to move away for extended periods of time, whether that's like going to Panama for 6 weeks or something stupid, like then it's tough to have reptiles of your own. But honestly, I will never live in a place that doesn't accept reptiles. Number 3, what are your top 3 plants to put in a live terrarium tank? For simplicity and just for easiness sake, I would say Wandering Jew, some sort of ivy, and pothos. Those are obviously the most like 3 basic plants, but they're also pretty much bulletproof, so that's what I recommend. The gaming photographer asks, what's your favorite gecko species that you do not own? Probably leaftails. I really think they're really, really cool. They're super expensive here in Canada, but I think they're really cool. Jack Harris says, how did you convince your parents to let your full room with reptiles? I assume like to let you fill your room with reptiles. And will you ever get a panther chameleon? By the way, love your vids. So how did I convince my parents? Very slowly. When I was 8, I did like a 1.5 years of research. We went to a course at the zoo. I filled up notebooks on like leopard geckos and how to take care of them. And from there, like, I got my mom hook, line, and sinker, just reeling her in. My dad's more of a out of sight, out of mind. Like, he really doesn't come down here and actually interact with them very often, where my mom, pretty much every morning that she's home, on weekends and, like, Fridays and things, she'll come down here in the morning and say hi to Sheldon and take out Kai and that kind of thing. But Dad is a little bit more carefree and doesn't really care as much. But I just told them and showed them that I could take care of them and not fail in school, not kind of lose my life to them, and I consider that a success. I mean, I'm kind of, my life is reptiles, but I haven't like lost myself in the process. Will I ever get a panther chameleon? I hope so. They're really cool. So Coops Reptiles asks, favorite Australian reptile species you would like to keep? Probably monitors. Some of the monitors out there are really, really amazing, and I would love to own them, like the Parentes. Oh my gosh. Even some of the like knobtail geckos and Australian water dragons. That's one. Australian water dragons. There you go. That's your answer. Norwegian Wolf Terrariums asks, would you ever get a tropical gecko again, like a day gecko or a mossy leaftail gecko? Have already answered that, my friend, but thanks for the comment. I also appreciate the support. Aqua.Jacob says, what are you hoping to add to your collection in the future? I try and stay away from the word collection because this isn't a collection to me. This is my family, and it's my group. It's not a collection. They're not like things on a pedestal or things to brag about. They're pets. They're real animals. I have to take care of them. However, with that aside, I would like, as I said earlier, a female Jackson's, a female Veiled, another female Red Aki, and those dwarf day geckos. Coming down to the end, boys. Michael Orico or Oricho or something. I love you, man. You have been with me for a long time. And to any of my other subscribers out there that I see regularly, I will try and remember to like show you out and give you a little blurb, but I just don't remember all the time. Like just now I'm starting to remember. Hey Mike, I have a question. I was wondering was there ever a time that your parents said you can't get a new animal or a specific one other than snakes? I love your vid and I'm super hyped for the rest of May Madness. I get that all the time. Literally every animal I've asked for since probably Rango has been no. You're not getting another reptile. Even Turok, Sheldon, the dart frogs, the immediate answer is always no. I slide into those DMs, you know? and I'm good at convincing. I can also prove to my parents that I can take care of them and continue doing well, working, school, other life things. It all comes together. It all comes into play. And especially now that I'm a little bit more like financially supporting myself, I think they're a little bit more willing. Possibly, I don't know. Jack Fourneau, are you planning to move out and get lots more reptiles? I will be moving out, not in the next probably 3 years, maybe 4 years. I'm not going to get lots more reptiles, but over time, I'm sure the den, I used it. The den will grow in time. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned. I don't really plan on quitting YouTube anytime soon, or anytime really. So yeah, just continue watching and you'll see how the progression goes. All right, fam. Last question in the Reptiles Q&A is right now. I am Dino Dude asks, what is your worst reptile experience? Bite, boringness, etc. Ooh, this is kind of an interesting one to end it off in. I think my worst reptile experiences have been deaths. Rango was really bad. That hit us really hard, especially seeing his downhill progression, starting off like $1 million and just going into nothingness. That was really hard to watch. That was probably the worst one. But even like this isn't my friend's fault at all, but when I was away to Phoenix, he was looking after my reptiles, and I think it was actually his first time doing it. The room overheated, we didn't turn the AC on, and I think the room got to like 110 degrees, and it just cooked one of my leopard geckos. He found Kazi in his cage, just lifeless, and I heard about it via text, so I was very, very upset about that. I remember that moment in time, looking at my phone, and he actually called him Kona, which was my pygmy chameleon at the time, and it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, I mean, that sucks, but I kind of knew it was coming. Like, they don't have a very long lifespan anyway. And then he was like, no, you're leopard gecko. And originally I thought it was striker, and I started bawling. And then he said Kazi, the orange one. And again, I just lost it. I was so upset. I wanted to go home. I just was not a happy camper. And I think those are like the worst experiences. I have been bitten, but honestly, I've been bitten by 2, maybe 3 reptiles at the stores that I've been working at here. Here was striker, actually, believe it or not. And I don't know if you can tell, but I actually do have a scar there. And then the other one was a Cook's tree boa at Petland, and the other one was a sand boa at work. And I mean, it's literally like this big. It just kind of went boop, and like I was like, oh, I think it just tried to bite me, like whatever. But the Cook's tree boa, it hurt. It definitely was not like my worst experience. I think that kind of wraps it up, guys. That wraps up the Reptile Q&A, the May 24th video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I have had a lot of fun filming this. It's taken like 40 minutes, and that's pretty much 40 minutes of pure video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have made it this far into the video, leave the word isopod in the comments down below, and also let me know what your worst reptile experience was. I think that's a really good way to end it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said earlier, drop a like down below. We are running a contest, me and Reptile Edge, so there will be a link down below. Check that out. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comments down below. If you like the video, like the video. If you want to see the tail end of May Madness here, subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified every time I post a video, and then you can look back and watch the other videos. Have a good one, guys. Graphic Phoenix, out of here.